Who's that?
Dan Rampai. Maybe it's one of your building.
Oh, yes. The Integrity Commissioner.
Yes.
Good afternoon, IC.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Good to see you on our show. You are most welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. It's good to be here.
Ndade Rampai, if you can sit up a little bit or tilt your laptop so that we can see at least the other way around. That way.
Sure. Great.
Up a little bit.
There's one of our chief whips, Councillor Alexandra. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, level 2, we don't allow international travel, but I can see 2 of our guests are in exotic locations. Of chairs is in some exotic location.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Portia. I'm doing comms for the city.
Oh, all right, Portia.
Yes.
All right.
Dr. Nyati, madam, Portia is here to help us to take the feed onto the City of Johannesburg's social media platform.
Beautiful.
And then we are looking for one councillor, and we'll just check up with her quickly, madam, and then we'll let you know.
All right.
Okay.
You see again, the speaker, we can't hear her.
Again.
It's a chronic problem.
No, it's a chronic problem.
Yeah.
It needs medication, Madam Speaker.
It's going for checkup tomorrow.
It's going for checkup tomorrow when we go to council meeting. The laptop is going for checkup tomorrow.
Hey,
Okay, Nompumelelo. Who's Nompumelelo? Mpumi, please identify yourself.
Hi, Councillor Mulwele. I am Mpumi from the EFF caucus office. I'm assisting
Councillor
Yes, Councillor Khateb. She would be logging in just now.
Just now, all right. Thank you so much, Mpumi. Okay. Okay, maybe we can give her 1 minute. Is it okay, Tim?
Yeah, sure, it's okay, Madam Speaker.
All right.
Fine, madam. Okay.
Okay, no, my support staff is coming in, so yeah.
These speakers must go for a checkup. Where is Yan Pazamisa?
It's the microphones inside because it switches on and off.
It switches on and off, yes. Councillor Alexandra, I see you are out of Johannesburg. That
No,
view is somewhere in the island, not in Joburg.
no, have a look. Look, I'll duck out the way.
That looks like the city of
That looks like a council chamber.
Yes.
Wow. You are in the chamber. Wow.
I'm in the chamber. We took this photo last year, October, when the jacarandas are in season. You can see how pretty they look.
Yeah, it's pretty. Wow, beautiful.
I love jacarandas.
Yeah, beautiful.
Love them.
Okay, Councillor Khatebe.
Coming in.
All right.
Nonhlanhla Khatebe is coming in.
Yes. Yes.
And Zandile Zwane.
Chief of Staff, good afternoon.
Madam Speaker, good
Chief of
afternoon.
Staff.
Afternoon, Madam Speaker.
I'm very happy you are here so that when the microphones switch off, I point at you. I have an excuse.
You know, my connectivity is not the best.
My gadget is not the best.
It's in the office.
And Dr. Nyati says my gadget has a chronic problem. So it's a chronic problem, and I blame the Chief of Staff. Okay, Councillor Khatebe, good afternoon, ma'am. You are most welcome.
Thank you, Speaker. Good afternoon to you too, and good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Nwabisa is a support staff for Dr. Nyati. Good afternoon, Nwabi.
Good afternoon, madam.
Okay, we are starting now. We are 5 minutes behind time. I would want to apologize to our viewers and also to our panelists. You know, the new normal, sometimes you can't guarantee it. You might think that you will start on time and it does not happen. So we do apologize. And to our panelists, I just want to inform you before we start that we are streaming live on different social media platforms. So we are not alone. It's on the show. It is us on the platform as well as different viewers who are following us every Wednesday when we have this show. With that said, welcome all of you to the final installment of our Women's Month Special Edition. In this month of August, we channeled our discussions towards focusing on issues that affect women in our city. A few weeks ago, we spoke to female councillors from the city of Johannesburg who had survived COVID-19 and who gave us powerful accounts of their journey with COVID-19 and how they managed to survive the virus. Last week, we hosted a very rich discussion on the effect of alcohol abuse on women and their families. As we head to the close of Women's Month, today we are in discussion with women party chief whips in our City of Johannesburg Council, who will talk to the role of women leaders in local government and their contribution to ethical leadership. In this discussion, ladies and gentlemen, we will firstly unpack the role of council chief whip. I'm inclined to believe that not all
You're gone.
Okay, am I back? Yes. Hey, I hope this is for the last time. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I was saying that in this discussion today, we will firstly unpack the role of council chief whip. I'm inclined to believe that not all Joburgers are familiar with the work of a chief whip. So for the benefit of our viewers, we must go into detail about the role of the chief whip. And I just want to also inform yourself and the viewers that I have been a chief whip myself. So I know how it feels to be a female chief whip. This will be followed by a look at some of the challenges that are faced by female chief whips in particular, as they occupy a role that has been historically been occupied predominantly by male figures, and how we can overcome those challenges as women. And I just want the viewers to have a feel of how is it to whip male counterparts as a woman or as a female. We will then get into the importance of ethical leadership with a deep focus on our contribution as women to ethics. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important discussion, especially because I continuously reflect on Mr. Makwetu's report. In July this year, the Auditor General, Kimi Makwetu, released the audit outcomes for local government for the period 2018-2019. In his report, the AG paints an undesirable picture of the state of our municipalities. Makwetu implores us to establish firm steps to restore the integrity of our institutions or Am I there?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. I was still indicating that Makwetu, the Auditor General, implores us to establish firm steps to restore the integrity of our municipalities. I think some of us have seen his report where he spoke about the integrity of the municipalities and institutions. And he places the emphasis on a strong
Today, OS, man.
Okay, chronic is getting worse, is worse today. Maybe it has sensed that it is the last day. So the disease is worse than any other days. I was still reflecting, ladies and gentlemen, on Auditor General's report, where he says that he implores us to establish firm steps to restore the integrity of our institutions and municipalities. And he places the emphasis on a strong and stable leadership, a leadership that is committed to a strong control environment and effective governance, and ethical leadership. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I want us to plug in as women leaders. Let me hasten to say that ethical leadership is an imperative for all. I hope the Chief of Staff is still here. I was saying that male leaders, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, all right. I'm saying male leaders have unfortunately been the face of unethical leadership in the past, as they mostly occupied leadership positions, both in corporate, but especially in the public sector. So for us as women, it is to say, as we begin to see more and more.
Go on, speak.
Okay, maybe I will have to hand over the hosting, because it looks like today it's worse. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Oh, yes, we can.
Yeah, no, today the microphones are really rejecting me. I was saying that for us as women, it is to say, as we begin to see more and more women leaders at the fore, as we begin to see more young women leaders emerge, we should be mindful not to fall in the same.
Speaker, you are gone again.
Hey.
Okay, maybe let me hand over to Doc let me just introduce let me leave my opening remarks and just introduce our guests so that we can move forward. I was just setting a tone so that we are able to have a direction when we do our discussions. I was saying, let me try one more last time. I was saying that ours is to take a different path. It is to say, how do we as women in the legislature bring our skills, knowledge, and femininity to plug in, and to ensure that ethical leadership is practiced effectively. And this is where I would like to take this discussion to. Without further ado, before this, the speakers also disappoint me, let me introduce my guests for today. I am joined by the party whips of council who represent different political parties, and well, they all happen to be women of integrity, women whom I am very proud of. Amandla to the Mbogodos today. I am joined by Councillor Wendy Alexandra, who is the party whip of the Democratic Alliance Caucus in Johannesburg. Welcome, Councillor Alexandra. Welcome, party whip.
Thank you for having me.
I am joined by Councillor Thandino Ntenja, who is the party whip of UDM in council and the chairperson of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee called MPEC. Welcome, Councillor Ntenja.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I am joined by Councillor Nonhlanhla Radebe. She is the party whip of the EFF caucus in council. Thank you very much, Councillor Nonhlanhla, and thank you for making the time to join this very important discussion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I am also joined by can you hear me?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Okay, all right. I am also joined by a lady who has become a regular on the show, Councillor Salfina Mlauzi, who is the chair of chairs, whom I am proud to say is also female and is the second in charge in the legislature. Welcome, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I am also joined by Advocate Daniel Rampai, who is the Integrity Commissioner in the city of Johannesburg, and whom will define ethical leadership and unpack the importance of ethics and all.
You're gone now. You're gone.
All right.
Yeah, I am. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Yeah, what can I say?
I was also going to say that Advocate Rampai is also a vanguard of the Councillor's Code of Conduct. So he will inform us when he addresses us. You are, so thank you very much, Advocate. You are not the only thorn amongst the roses. I think you have seen, you are not the only one. Yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Nyati is there. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Nyati and Sipo is there.
Sipo as well, yeah.
Yeah, we are also joined by my respected partner, partner of this show and partner of the city, Dr. Nyati, who continues to support us in our endeavor and educating our communities. You are most welcome, Bele, and thank you very much for being here every Wednesday and dedicate your time.
Thank you, Speaker. Can I make a suggestion, though?
Yes,
that if you have the speaker problem, can the chair of chair take over?
Yes.
Disappear, and then the chair of chairs, takes over.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. You have been nominated. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will get straight into it. I would firstly allow the chief whips to give us an indication on the role of a party whip. What does it entail? What are some of the greatest leadership challenges that you have experienced as a woman? As I said, that as a woman, whipping in the parties and trying to instill discipline and all.
Speaker, we can't hear you.
The chair of chairs must take over.
Is she really gone? Madam Speaker?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I was handing over to the whips. I hope you've had the questions without sticking to the questions in specific, but just to give us the role of the chief whip, what it entails, what are some of the greatest leadership challenges that you have experienced as a woman? How have you overcome these challenges? But you are not limited to those questions. You can just go on and tell us. Maybe let me start with Councillor Alexandra.
Thank you, Speaker. I think that most people largely understand the term as whip, as the disciplinarian that was within the structure. And I firmly believe that, and maybe this comes from me being a mother, that when you have to be in charge of discipline, probably the best way forward is to actually have support. So I find it very important that you need to be the support structure within your caucuses, so that that I believe that if there's more support, there's a place for people to nurture and to be grown, and that we don't have to spend our time disciplining. I don't think any of us enjoy having to be the whip, the stick behind a team, but rather to be the motivating force that makes your team go forward and work on a congruent thing. So I believe that often we have this term whip, but hand in hand with that discipline, I believe goes the support that is needed by the parties around us. And that's probably what I bring to the table that may have been different from my male counterparts, is I always believe people first, and that will help with the growth.
Wow, thank you very much, Councillor Alexandra. People first, and also to become a disciplinarian and make sure that everyone toes the line and everyone does the task that one is given. Thank you so much. Let's go to Councillor Khatebe.
Thank you, Speaker. I think I will start by the role of the party whip. I think the role of a party whip is to ensure party discipline in the legislation and ensuring that members of the party vote accordingly to the will of their constituencies and of their policies. Basically, what I can say is that party whips are party enforcers who are there to ensure that caucuses adhere to the policies of the party.
Okay. Enforcers. I like that one. We'll come back. We'll come back and check what are the challenges you are faced with when you enforce, power. So what happens and what are the challenges that you are confronted with, and how do you overcome those challenges? Men on danger? Councillor on danger? I don't see Councillor on danger anymore.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'm here, Madam Speaker. I'm here. Okay, maybe luckily or unluckily, I have no one to whip, as I'm the only councillor there. But I know that it's not an easy role, having experienced it in committees where you find that the whips sometimes fail to crack those whips. And also when there is a problem in council, as whips, we have to find the solutions. So it's some challenging job for whips in general. I don't think it's about being a woman. I think it's a challenge for everyone who has to control the others, because where there's human beings, there's always disorderly and all that. But I must say, this is my third term in the city of Johannesburg. And as whips, we have always get well along with one another, and we have always managed to come up with solutions, even if we differ sometimes, but yes, we manage to get the solutions so that the work of the city can continue, because that's what the whips are there for, to ensure that there is order, to ensure that the work of the city, no matter how people can be unruly, it mustn't disrupt the work of the city. And we share one thing, that we are there for the constituencies. How different they are, it doesn't matter. They are all the citizens of the city, and they look up to us as leaders.
Okay. Thank you very much, Councillor Nontenja. You're reminding me of council meetings when they become difficult. I would always, as a speaker, I would always call upon party whips. I would always say, party whips, can you please assist? So really, I do understand your role and the difficulties that comes with. Maybe before we go to Advocate Rampai, let us, Chair of Chairs, and also the whips let us talk about ethical leadership. How do we make sure that as leaders, we practice ethical leadership and ethics? How do we really make sure? Because I think that is very important for a leader, to make sure that you practice ethics and you become exemplary as a leader, and you don't fall into temptations and traps that would lead you to be unethical. So before we go to Advocate Rampai, who will unpack ethics as well as his role, let me find out from us as leaders, as political leaders, our understanding of ethics. Maybe let me start with Chair of Chairs, and then I'll go back to the whips.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, Madam Speaker, I hear councillors are talking very, very short on this matter. Being a woman and being a leader in a male-dominated space, it's a bit challenging. You need to be a very strong woman to be able to lead in the space. And I am telling you, women are not just chosen to lead those spaces if they are weak. All the women that you see here is because they are strong. That's why they were given those particular positions. And to make sure that there's ethical leadership in your caucus, it's something a bit challenging as well. You are leading people that get tempted by all these things around the city where they work, as councillors. And another thing, it's ethical leadership as well, Madam Speaker, even speaks to the fact that we have to follow the code of conduct of councillors. You need to make sure that your councillors as a whip follow protocols that they need to be following. Especially, you can even look into the matters that happen, things that happen in council. You find that councillors decide, Madam Speaker, as we all know, to do whatever they want. They will unmute and do all those things. But as a whip, then what do you do? As a whip, then what do? You find that you get very confused. You have to make sure that all your councillors adhere to the line of march that they're supposed to be doing, especially according to your party lines. I mean, all the parties, we might be different political parties, but at the end of the day, we all want to be the best of the best. We want the communities out there to see us as the best leaders in the society. But then, to lead in that space, it's challenging. And Madam Speaker, as challenging as it is, it needs us to be, most of the times to be encouraged, especially by our female speaker, to make sure that we are more empowered, to make sure that we are more encouraged and motivated, and have a lot of maybe workshops or empowerment sessions where it will make us be more of what we are. We are leaders. We have been given that leadership positions by our political parties because they believe in us, but we still need more, Madam Speaker, to be able to deal with all these challenges that we are facing. It is a very challenging area, but with ethical leadership, we need to be ethical. I know you would know you are ethical, somebody's ethical, but the people that you are lead does not mean that they are all ethical, especially when they are male. They will seem to be understanding that you are weak when you practice ethical leadership. When you tell them about ethics, they will take it that you are weak, you are this person that cannot stand things, you are a coward, But then at the end of the day, ethical leadership must be practiced, and whether we like it or not, we have to follow it. And as women, and I know we are the best leaders, Madam Speaker, I tell you, we are the best. That it doesn't matter how vulnerable you look. We are leaders. We are leaders from our homes. We are leaders everywhere. And in council, that's where we excel, Madam Speaker. That is why you find sometimes we are all able to make sure that our caucuses adhere to the rules and regulations of council. That's a bit that I will say for now, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. Maybe if I may pose a question before the whips can speak, that have you ever experienced a situation whereby when your caucus is ill-disciplined, you are blamed? You are told that you can't control caucus, you can't manage, you can't instill discipline, and every blame is then on your shoulders as a caucus leader. And now you try by all means, because now you are a woman, you have to prove yourself. you have to do double or 3 times maybe that than the men would do. To make sure that caucus is disciplined, caucus toe the line, all the things that the chair of chairs have. Have you ever experienced that? Because during my days when I was the chief whip, I know that I have experienced that. Sometimes you are in a meeting or in a caucus, when you go back home, you like, yo, yeah, no, this today was the day. And you really feel it. So if we can just, let's talk about it. It's not a bad thing, because we're sharing experiences with even our viewers out there who have been given leadership positions, to say leadership position does not come easy. And you have to, you have to be yourself, to be bold, but be yourself, not like imitate to be somebody else. So can we talk about that to ensure, how do you make sure that as a woman leader, there's accountability and the accountability is enforced? Ethical leadership. Councillor Alexandra?
Thank you, Speaker. You know, you just mentioned the days where you walk away and you're like, today I earned my salary. I think it also, sometimes the tough part comes from being a whip, is particularly when you're a whip of a large caucus. So when we're in full force, we're over 100 councillors, and we're all politicians. So we come with these strong values and strong views and agendas that we feel strongly about. So to keep these kinds of personalities all on the same page is a 24/7 kind of role. But I find that for myself, I believe in something called equity feminism, where the rights of women and men are equal. And that we should have equal opportunity. And I do everything in my power to make sure that any obstacles or barriers that are put there based on somebody's gender, that they're removed, so that we have equal opportunities. But with me saying, you know, we need to remove barriers so we have equal opportunities, what I do notice is that when you look at women in politics in South Africa and around the world, that you'll see that we are largely in the minority, except in countries like Rwanda, but that's a different story. We need to spend some time from like a bottom-up approach, you know, nurturing our girl children so that they feel confident and believe in themselves, and they put themselves forward for these leadership positions. If women don't raise their hands and say, I'm here, I'm available, we won't be able to fulfill these roles. So I really do believe, as women and as men in South Africa, we need to make sure that we remove barriers and that our children can prosper and people can prosper. So, but with me saying that, I am very aware that there are still barriers that need to be removed and equalities that need to be balanced when it comes to gender. And, you know, you talk about how do you manage a tough caucus. I find that the personal approach is best. If people are sitting in front of you and they are on time and they are doing their role, I shouldn't have to speak to them about ill-disciplined people who aren't there. Pick up the phone and speak to those who need to pull their socks up. And you know, and I'm sure, like during council meetings, there are many of my councillors that get that phone call. You're not on mute. We can hear your conversations. Please be part of the solution. You know, there are many phone calls that I put in, and I find that sometimes is the best way to do it. We don't do it on purpose. Sometimes people are, it's just, you know, it is what it is. But you know, if people aren't, if we're having a misunderstanding or there's a challenge, I find that addressing those things head on and with the conversation often it allows you to find points of commonality and to get points of clarity, that if you're missing each other or misunderstanding each other, that you can come right. But with that being said, it's never easy. It's always going to be challenging. And I believe all of us here are here because we believe in what we are doing. We believe for what we stand for, and none of us are going to give up because it's difficult. But I do think that we owe it to the people that come after us, that we forge a path forward so that they will be able to excel and not have to battle about removing barriers, that those barriers will be removed and that they can be the best that they can be coming after us. But I do think we need a bottom-up approach so we can attract more women into leadership roles.
Thank you very much, Councillor Alexandra. I love the way you have closed your input. Attract more women into leadership roles, and also mentor more women to have confidence. You spoke about confidence, because I think it is all about confidence, how confident you are as a leader. And you also spoke about removing barriers that are there. You remove barriers and you lead as a female leader. And ethical practices as a female leader, I think that is very important. Before I give the next councillor, I think Councillor Nonhlanhla Radebe, let me acknowledge people who have joined. I see Sandile Mahlaba. Sandile Mahlaba is one of our old friends. He is one of our gurus in IT. Sandile, you are most welcome. Who else is here? Thandeka, I have Thandeka, there's Thandeka Musito. You are all welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, okay, Sandile is responding to say thanks, Speaker. You are most welcome, Sandile. Nonhlanhla, Councillor Radebe, let's hear from you, May. Ethical leadership. And how do you, as a woman, ensure that accountability is enforced? And also confidence that Councillor Alexandra spoke about.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Nhlaga.
It seems
you're welcome.
that, well, thank you. It seems that, and apologies for joining in a bit late. I was having issues with my connection. It seems Councillor Radebe has been kicked out of the meeting. So I think she's trying to log in again. She's just sent me a notification to that effect. Thank you.
Okay, let us assist her to come back. Let's hear from Advocate. Advocate Rampai as the vanguard of
We can't hear you, Madam Speaker. You're not audible.
Unfortunately, can't hear you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, my speaker phones are ill-disciplined today. They
There
need
you are. There you are.
they need whips to whip them. They need to be whipped.
Yeah.
Yes, I was giving an opportunity to you, Advocate Rampai, to say, tell us about ethics and your role. Your role as the Integrity Commissioner in the city of Johannesburg. I was saying that some of the viewers, they are not aware that there is something called Councillor's Code of Conduct, and that there is a person like yourself who is a vanguard of the Code of Conduct, who makes sure that as councillors we declare and we follow the Code of Conduct, and we practice ethical leadership as leaders in council. So they just listen to the news when we are blamed of corruption as councillors, and that as if there are no controls. So you are here to talk about those controls that are in place, and how do you make sure that they are adhered to. Thank you very much. Over to you, Advocate.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. It is quite a pleasure. It is. Do you hear me, Madam Speaker?
Yes, I was
so
just thinking that I skipped Councillor Nontenja, but she will come. Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to express my sincere thanks for the invitation to talk at this meeting of yours. It is very, very critical for me to begin to acknowledge what councillors have said. I loved when they made reference to the support that they give as part and parcel of their role as chief whips, the discipline that they have to administer to councillors, and the control and empowerment that they normally give to councillors to ensure that they ultimately do what they are supposed to be doing. But what is important for me, Madam Speaker, is the extent to which councillors understand what ethics and integrity is. For me, Ethics integrity is not only important to leadership, in fact, it is central to leadership because of the nature of the process of influence that councillors and chief whips have over other councillors and over the residents, of course, as councillors, and of course the need to change or to engage followers. And in the context of councillors, of course, followers would be the residents in terms of what their needs are. And of course, the impact of leaders, councillors as leaders, on the organizational values, that is the values of the municipality. Let me begin and define what ethics is, or integrity as well. Ethics, councillors, refers to the character or manner of a person. Character simply refers to the kind of person someone is, and manner refers to how a person interacts with others. The reason why I felt so obliged to come, and the reason why I was so excited to come, is simply because I was raised by a woman. I am the man that I am today because of the leadership of a woman. And there's something, Madam Speaker, that councillors, particularly women, that they don't seem to appreciate. I remember Councillor Malauti referred to, they are the best leaders as women, given what they do at home. And that's exactly that. If there's a value that councillors should appreciate as women, is humility. And I'll come to it. Love and service. My mother served us as children, regardless of what she had. And it is a value that councillors as women should exhibit, and it should come naturally, because women always service. And when I talk to service in this instance, I'm talking about service to the people.
Yes.
As a service should come naturally to you as a woman, simply because that's what you're born to do. And I'll talk about the value of love. Love for who? Not love for yourself, but love for humanity. Your position demands you to exhibit love for the people that you serve. I cannot begin to stress the importance of strong convictions. Remember, in ethical legal parlance, in ethics or legal parlance, we always say that strong convictions precede great actions, or rather, great actions are influenced by strong convictions. I'll make a simple example about service. If I can stand up as a woman and say, and this is what I want councillors as women should do, so that they can set them apart from male counterparts. They should be able to say, I have come to serve. I have not come to tap the streams of power or reduce others to puppets for a cause, but I have come to give myself away. Women have always given themselves away for their families, and this should be easier when they embed themselves in the service that they have to render to the community or to the residents. But you can only do that, Madam Speaker, only if you have the love for humanity. Have you taken a position because you love what you do, or have you taken a position because of what you are going to get out of it? But if you put love first, love for the people, people are going to appreciate what you are doing, and they're going to clamor to you because they know everything that you do is influenced by the love that you have for them. How difficult would be service to the residents if you have their interests at heart? Women are known to be great lovers. Women are known to be great people who serve. And women are known to be people of humility. For me to be able to serve and continue to serve is when I am humble. I want to know of a councillor who's arrogant and still continue to serve those that has elected her. Humility precedes, or humility brings power. And it is the quality that is central to servant leadership, which is ethical leadership. You can only serve and meet the interests of the residents if you are humble. You can't serve residents and meet their interests if you're focused on yourself. Women, this is the time for you to rise and begin to set yourself apart from male counterparts, simply because the value of love for humanity, the value of service to humanity, and humility are innate values that reside in you. We always talk about leading from inside out. If you lead from inside out, it's when you act on the basis of the values that define you. I am a woman of integrity simply because my practice is influenced by honesty. My practice is influenced by acting in good faith. My practice is influenced by being transparent in everything that I do. That, if we can remember, will be known to have been women who led in front and would not be moved by anyone from the strong values that we hold. What could be bad about doing good? Values will always give content to what is good. And I want to believe that what is good is serving the interests of the residents and making a difference in the people that you serve. It is the time that women councillors begin to appreciate and live the values of love for humanity, service to mankind, and humility. Hello? Hello? I hope I was listened to and I was audible enough for everyone to grasp what I was talking about.
Yes,
yes, you were, advocate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, and equally important, like I said, it is love. Look, councillors, you just cannot begin to appreciate your responsibilities and duties as councillors if you don't love people. You cannot begin to appreciate the duty that you have as councillors if you are not ready to serve. That's why I stress the value of humility. I've not seen, I still have to see men councillors who are humble enough to say, yes, what takes priority are the needs and interests of the communities that we serve. If you want to be set apart as women in these great positions that you occupy, you'd rather be the odd one out by doing exactly what your values tell you to do. Be seen as people who live by their values. And Madam Speaker, you talked about the code of conduct, which Councillor Molauti referred to as well. The code of conduct is a document. The code of conduct is a document that is legislated, which is found in the Act itself. And this code of conduct talks about the conduct of councillors, but it sets out the actions that need to be taken by councillors and circumstances under which they should and circumstances under which they shouldn't. And my office has been established for the sole purpose of enforcing the code of conduct, because it has to do with how councillors should conduct themselves. So all their obligations and duties are set out in the code of conduct. I've had problems in the past, Madam Speaker, where my initiative in training councillors on ethics and integrity were watered down, because I cannot see councillors conducting themselves how they should if they do not have the knowledge that they're supposed to have in the conduct of their duties or performance of their functions. And it is the responsibility of this office to empower councillors. And reference has been made to lack of knowledge on the part of councillors in terms of how they should conduct themselves, or even what ethics means or what integrity means. And I want to make the loudest of all noises to say the Office of the Integrity Commissioner exists for the sole purpose of empowering councillors. It is an accountability office because I am there to hold councillors accountable to the community that they serve. I will end there, Madam Speaker, unless, of course, there would be other questions that would want to engage me on what I do and what I've talked about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Advocate, for your very comprehensive knowledge on your role as the Integrity Commissioner in the big city like Johannesburg with 270 councillors. And I'm sure that your work is also not that easy.
Not at all.
You spoke about, you raised pertinent issues. You spoke about the link between integrity, ethical leadership, and effective service delivery. The link between the two, being ethical in making sure that services are delivered to our communities. You spoke about, you posed a question, and I'm going to ask Mamuno Ntenja and Councillor Hadebe to reflect on your question. The question that says, have you taken this position for own material gain, or you have taken this position to service the people of the city of Johannesburg? Or you spoke about humility. I think they will also reflect on that as I will be giving the two whips opportunity to reflect on ethical leadership. Before I do that, let me welcome two guests. There's Vuyo Marau. I think Vuyo will write for us where is she from, whether it's a male or female, because this name can be for female or male. Vuyo Marau. We have Nosipho Nonkelela. I know Nosipho Nonkelela. She's one of our friends all the way from United States of America. She's a woman deployed in the South African Embassy in America. You are most welcome, Nosipho. We are very delighted to have you in Johannesburg, all the way from America. I really like these meetings. I like this platform. Thank you very much. We are here with council leaders, leadership of council, different political party whips who are females, because we're in August. So they are here to talk about their role of being political party whips. Councillor Nontenja, can I give an opportunity to you to reflect on ethical leadership?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To me, ethical leadership says to you, you must be true to yourself. You must be a principled person. You must live by the guidance of the code of conduct. When you see something wrong done by someone else, it shouldn't matter whether that person is your friend or is from your party or how you are related to that person. Wrong must always be wrong. You must be principled. Commissioner Rampai, what we're gonna get, then we are here for a wrong reason. Because the people who vote us in there expect a lot from us. That's why we have to show that ethical leadership, where you lead with integrity, where you know that if services must go to the people, I will not compromise on that. do not allow yourself to be compromised on issues that touches the constituency of the city of Johannesburg. So to me, that's what is important. We have to make sure that when it comes to service delivery, we are at the forefront. We are doing our oversight as the people who should be. And you're not going to be liked by everybody, but rather live with that than compromise yourself and be unethical and do all the wrong things that you shouldn't be doing. So to me, that is the case. Principles and
Madam
values.
Speaker, yeah, let me get into there. I agree with what Councillor has said. If we can begin to look beyond our interest and say this shouldn't be good for us, but it should be good for the people that we serve, then we will have arrived at what we need to achieve as councillors, as elected representatives. This is not for us. This is for the people that we serve. But the question is, what would influence your behavior to go beyond your interests to the interests of others? It should be what your values are. If I am going to serve people because I love them, it is because it subscribes to my values, which is love for people, which is service. So the question is, what really drives you to ultimately overlook your interests and look at the interests of the people that we serve? That is the challenge that we have. I wouldn't want for anyone to want to be told that, councillor, you are here to serve. It shouldn't be a reminder to any councillor serving in this position. It should be, I am here to serve and I'm here to do good for the people who have elected me. It has nothing to do with me at all. But the question is, have we acted as councillors in our interest or the interest of those who have elected us?
Of the people. Okay. Yeah, I see the commissioner is now carried away, Councillor Nontenja, because he's working with councillors every day. So he's working with us every day, and all these things they come to him. Yes, you were still on the platform. Are you adhering to the values? Are you servicing the people or yourself? Do you always remember the reasons why you are elected as a leader? Do you always avoid temptations and to live beyond your means?
Amen.
Councillor Nontenja.
Madam Speaker, that's what I mean about being principled.
Yes.
That you have to stick to your values. You know what are your values. And you tell yourself all the time, if it wasn't for these poor people, I wouldn't be here. And there are expectations. When they come crying to you, you can't turn and say, go elsewhere. You must be there for them. So you have to fight for them. You have to make sure, even if it means sometimes that you shortchange your own family, but you cannot turn and go when you see the sadness that is outside there. It's even worse with this COVID because people are out of work, people are out, they have no food, they have nothing. And if we don't stand up for them, nobody will. And they are relying on us as their public representatives. They can't go there. They can never go and argue their cases in council and say this is the situation that we are in. So for us as leaders, we have to always put them at the forefront.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Councillor Nontenja. Thank you very much, Chairperson of MPEC. I know how difficult your work is when you have to call the executive to account on financial issues. And when you talk about values and putting people first, I know exactly what you are talking about. Councillor Khatebe, Whip.
Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah.
Just respond to your question on whether I've taken the position for my personal gain and so forth. In short, I would say no. It is not for my personal gain. You know, Speaker, when you ask that question, you are reminding me of one question that we once asked by our president, when he said, you must tell us, why did you join this organization? And we had to like respond to that. And my response is, you know, I joined to become a public servant and to be a member so that I can save my community. I wanted to make a change in the community where I come from. So it was not for personal gains or for any other thing. Unfortunately enough, from where I am, we have to fund whatever that we are doing from where we are. So there are no personal gains from us. Everything that you do is for the community. Mine is to say that as a public servant, you always have to be in the forefront of what are your community's needs. You have to know what are your community's needs and be in the forefront, which is what we call service delivery, because there's no service delivery if you don't know what are your community's needs. And to be a public servant, you also have to love what you are doing. You have to be passionate about it. So to me, that is why I think that women leaders, in terms of ethical leadership, it is something that it is within them. Because when you talk about ethical leadership, as a leadership, you need to be true to yourself and you must do nothing that demeans you or dishonors you. So you have to be gracious, you have to be respectful, you have to be honest, you have to be trustworthy, you have to be hardworking, and also you have to be helpful. You have to be responsible and patient. And when I'm saying that, then you will know as a woman that these are the qualities that we possess as women.
Yes.
We possess them naturally, which is why as women we can lead better. And Speaker, in terms of what is the role of women leaders in ethical leadership, this has been mentioned over and over and over that we possess it naturally, and morality and ethics have a lot to do with empathy and compassion. So I think we can go on the whole day, but also, Speaker, just to speak on, I don't know whether you have spoken about the accountability and all of that. You know, as individuals, we must be able to deliver on our commitments. We must be able to show as leaders that we can be trusted to do whatever that we said we'll do. And we must take responsibility for the outcomes of our own actions and decisions and successfully transform efforts into results. Another problem that I think we have, and which it must stop, we must stop making excuses when something goes wrong. When you account, you don't place the blame on others. That is what we need to do, and we need to concentrate on as leaders. We must have consistency, because consistency is key. We must lead by example, by being accountable to ourselves as leaders first, and we must create a strong culture of accountability. This is something that we need to work on as leaders. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Whip, Councillor Nonhlanhla. There are buzzwords here that I am taking home. Responsibility, values, accountability, disciplinarian, that were mentioned. I think it was mentioned by Councillor Alexander, that as whips, as political party whips, we are known to be disciplinarians. And Councillor Nonhlanhla raised something very important, that as women, we possess certain qualities of leadership. We do possess qualities of leadership, and we start that at our own homes. That is why a home without a mother, you can easily see that there is no mother in this home, because the kids, they go their own way, their father goes his own way, the whole family gets their own way. So where there is a woman and a mother, the mother is a person that glues the family together and instill discipline, the values and the principles of the families. It is a woman. So that is why it's not difficult for women to assume positions of leadership, because that is practiced at a household. So thank you very much. That's what I'm gaining. Let me give our visitors, especially those who are women, just to comment and encourage us as women leaders in this city of Johannesburg, because we need to be encouraged. Chair of Chairs said we need to be motivated. We need ongoing and consistent motivation as women leaders, because to lead is not easy. And to stick on your ethical practices, it's also not easy. It's not easy to say, you know, to avoid some of the things, or to have that eye that see unethical practices coming from far before they are close to you. It's not easy to lead in a women environment and within a patriarchal society that we are having as a country and maybe other countries. So we need to be motivated. Before I can give the party whips to say the last word, we are going to close the session at 5:30. Before I can give all the panelists to say the last word, let me maybe give Nosipho Nonkelela just to give some words of motivation. We are with women here, Nosipho, from different political parties who are leaders of their caucuses in council. They are leaders in council. Even myself as a speaker, for the council to maintain decorum and be disciplined, I depend on these women, or men and women, but we are talking women now. We are in August. We are biased to women. So I depend on these leaders to make sure that council is run smoothly and we represent our communities. Just 2 minutes word of encouragement.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Malibongwe.
Igama lamakhosikazi.
Yes, I love what you are doing, guys. On the issue that is being put on the table, I wish I can say, being a woman, it's a multitasking exercise that would take the whole soul, but the strength that has been given to us by nature, it compels us to do whatever we can do. It's not easy. We were never taught from our homes that it will be easy. But having taken all what was said by your mother from home, whether the father was not there or there, but there are values you grew up with. If we hold on these values, I had then talking about you have to have values, you discipline, you do whatever. You will never catch up these things on the way. It has to be home. If home is not there, you might have the role model. If not, never can share with you how did she achieve what she has now. If I may share also with you, it's a long road, but it needs something that is called strength, faith, and you focus. Ladies, I'm so happy that I see that you are focusing on building our community. The children we see today in our streets in South Africa, it's because of us. If we can stand firm as women, we can achieve anything. I thank you for your 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Nonkelela. Strength, faith, and focus. I think as leaders, we have taken that home. Nhlaga, can you please just read the comments from our viewers? Let's hear what our viewers are saying. They are part of this session.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you for this very rich discussion. I must say that we, as young women and emerging leaders, are also taking out a lot from this particular discussion. So with regards to the comments, there are quite a few. I'm going to go through them. So the first one, let me read Tandim Dlalose's comment, who says, "We are here, Madam Speaker." Tembalama Chibi Mtabela says, "If you empower a woman, you empower a nation." Magdalene McD says, "Can we also talk about the role played by women to tackle the lack of accountability and transparency in our municipalities? Thank you." Vuminko Simfea says, "To encourage service delivery." I'm assuming he's emphasizing the link made between ethical leadership and service and service delivery. Let me leave it here for now, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm gonna request our panelists to say the last word. We left with 15 minutes, I think, to the end of the show. Dr. Nyati, are you there?
Yes, Speaker.
I don't want to deny our male counterparts an opportunity to speak.
Yeah. Can I just ask one question, which I think is directed to all the chief whips, who are obviously leaders of their various parties within a council. My issue is that, I've been listening here and it's very good what I'm hearing, but then there's a difference between what people say and what people do. All right? That there's a gap there. Now, when people are sworn, to take public office, they normally take an oath and say, a lot of good things there. But then months or years later in their work, they start doing things that are actually against the very oath that they took to serve. So the question I have, maybe I'll ask Ndade Rampai to say, how do you ensure that the councillors, in the council continuously live, not pay lip service, live high standards of ethics, understanding that there is the law and there is ethics. The ethics, the standards are much higher than the law. The law is usually minimum standards. So people will tell you that, no, but there is no law that says I cannot tender or my family cannot tender in the city of all right? Yeah. However, the ethics demand more than that to tell you that you should not be, allowing your relative to tender for this where you actually have, a decision making or influence unless you recuse yourself. So the gap between ethics and the law, and also that people live what they took oath for in line with servant leadership, because I think that's where we are in South Africa right now. Wherever we see, it's people just lining up their pockets or their families and stuff, and it is really worrying. And it's not the majority, but those few people are really messing up the confidence of the citizens on public, office bearers and public servants in general.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Nyati. I don't want to waste time. Commissioner?
Yes, look, this is quite easy, Madam Speaker. This is something that I'm going to suggest, and it's something that I've been thinking about. If ethics can be made part and parcel of the agenda of every council meeting, where councillors are reminded about the oath they took and why they are serving as councillors, that they are here for the interest of the people, and how they should conduct themselves in council as well, in an ethical manner. So if we raise that, before the meeting starts, that councillors should be reminded why they are here and that you expect ethical conduct within council itself and when they are outside of council. Okay, and what is important as well is councillors need to appreciate that there is an office that exists, Madam Speaker, an office to advise them about ethical conduct if they are in doubt. I can't see any reason why councillors should say, I did not know or I don't know, where there is an office established for them to advise them on the conduct that they should employ or even decision making. Madam Speaker, I had developed about 5 programs intended to empower councillors. One of them is ethical leadership, ethical decision making, integrity of governance and governance of integrity within the municipality. All these answers can be provided to councillors, provided, of course, councillors begin to appreciate why the Office of the Integrity Commissioner exists. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was very empowering. I am now going to give or to hand over to the leadership present here. Everyone, just to have the last bite and also to say way forward. How do we take forward this discussion into practice as councillors? I know that the chair of chairs earlier suggested that maybe we have continuous workshop that will encourage and motivate us to continue to do good. So if I can hear from the leaders here, last bite, and how do we take forward this discussion and how do we work together as women in the city of Johannesburg, women of integrity, women of ethical leaders who are, you know, I'm not sure how do you say it in English, Mara, there is a say that say, which means that as women, we handle the knife where it is sharp, you know, where it cuts. That's where we hold the horse by its what to say? A bull by its horns. As women, yes. So can I give one who wants to start? Who wants to go first? As we wrap the discussion.
Councillor Alexandra is ready.
Councillor Alexandra, you're ready. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Speaker, for having this discussion today. I think it's been very valuable. You asked the way forward, and we've spoken a lot about values and principles, and I believe very strongly that we have a constitution that governs us and the rule of law. And ethics is a very much right and wrong. And we have an obligation to make sure that the fairness is transparent through everything that we do in council. And with the rule of law, I'm going to say, we've spoken a lot about service and how we are here to serve the people and the communities of the city of Johannesburg. And with that, I say that we should step forward as those leaders and say, hold us accountable, hold us to a higher standard. And should we be found wanting, then the rule of law should be put against us to the toughest manner. Politicians are not above the rule of law, and we should be held accountable. The Ethics Commissioner has given us that guidance. If we don't know, let's ask. So find out what we need to do. But should we be found wanting, then I think that it is only right that we do what is the right thing, and that councillors should be held accountable for their deeds. On the flip side of the same coin, we should also celebrate our wins. But I don't believe that being a politician or an elected public rep negates us from the responsibilities that we have. So I think as a way forward, I think that we should be a shining example to our community. We should be the pillar of strength when it comes to fighting against the corruption that we see that is so rife in South Africa. And that if we are found wanting, that we should step aside and do the right thing. So and the only way we can continue to do this is to discuss it. Workshops are good, to be reminded of it frequently. I do like that idea, that to bring it into our committees, into our council sittings, that we be reminded every time that we sit there that we swore an oath of office to the people of Johannesburg, and that we take that oath seriously. So that's how I think we can take it forward. I think that it is our obligation as leaders, and I believe as women that sit here today, that in our hands, I think we can do those things.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Thank you so much. The rule of law, and that we should not be hard on ourselves. We should discuss things. We should be consistent in what we are doing. You know, when I joined the city of Johannesburg, almost 20 years ago, we had a multi-party caucus that we had, and it was very fruitful because that is where, as women from different political parties, would discuss issues and build ourselves, and making sure that we mentor those who were young. We were mentored. I was still young that time. We were mentored by those who were there before us in making sure that we are ethical leaders and we obey the rule of law and build confidence. Councillor Nontenja.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I must start with you to say.
Can you sit up a little bit, Councillor Nontenja, so that, yeah, good. A little bit, yes.
I must start with you, Madam Speaker, to say it's a good thing that you remember that there was at some stage a multi-party women's caucus.
Yes.
Can you revive that one? Because maybe that's what is missing in the city. Madam Speaker, I think as women leaders, we should go out there, inspire younger women not to be afraid, because they get scared when they hear that how women are treated by their counterparts. But we must instill confidence on them that you have to know what you are doing. Once you know what you are doing, you will get the respect of your counterparts. Then you will work with them. You forget that they are another gender. To you, they will be colleagues, and then you work with them. So we need to mentor those women. We need to inspire them so that they can take these positions as leaders of women. Madam Speaker, in closing, I would like to say some of the laws that are governing us need review. It shouldn't be enough that I just declare my interest and it ends there, that I've declared the interest. Then that's what is causing the corruption that we are seeing today. Because if I've declared, I tell myself that I'm covered, I can tender with the government. The code of conduct says whatever it says you can't do it. There mustn't be those loopholes that says if you have told Commissioner Rampai that your sister or your son or your brother has business and all that, that allows them to do tender with the government. Some of these laws we have to revisit. They are not cast on stone. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mam Nontenja. I think the role of women in developing laws is very important, that we must be part and parcel of Am I back?
You're back.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mam Nontenja. Councillor Khatebe.
Thank you, Speaker. Hey, Ma'am Nontenja. I like what we have just said there. You are speaking directly to pillar number 3 of the EFF, shying away from tenders. when you speak about declaration and then people declare so that they can have business with the municipality of tenders just because we have declared this, I think you have just put it very nice that we need to shy away from that. And the solution is that we need to shy away from tenders completely so that there is no corruption. And also to support what you have just said, Speaker, and all the women that have spoken, we need the support system as women in council, and not only in council, but all over, because the struggle for women is still out there, is still continuing. And my last word is to all of the women out there during this month of women, since Speaker has just declared that this is the last session during Women's Month. What I want to say to women out there is that women, let's find our own support system. Let us not be used by men and do everything possible to please men folks with political influence just so we can stay in positions or in power as women leaders. Let's stop the system of pull her down syndrome. We must have a bigger picture as women, and we must also realize that the key to female emancipation is the emancipation for all of us. Thank you, Speaker.
Wow. Hey, I nearly broke my neck the way I'm agreeing with you, especially when you say, let us be our own sisters' support. Let us be our own support system as women. You remind me of the SMSs and WhatsApps I receive in council from different political party women. I won't mention their names, but women from different political parties, when I'm about chair of chairs to start a meeting, I would receive a message or messages from different women to say, good luck, we are with you, especially during those difficult council meetings. So, Councillor Khatebe, when you say, let us be our own support system, let us not be used, wow, you have said a mouthful. Let us stop the PhD syndrome as women. We will go far. Who's missing? Councillor Mlauzi, you will be the last. Who has not wrapped up? From the, okay, Councillor Nantenja, you have spoken. Councillor Wendy, Alexander, you have spoken. Khatebe, all right. Let me hand over to you, Chair of Chairs.
Thank you. Thanks, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is very important for the legislature and the WIPARI to perform oversight to promote accountability for municipal departments and the entities and provide services so that they can provide services to the community that we lead. We need to do oversight on the departments and entities and on ourselves as political party leaders. We have a responsibility, Madam Speaker, to make sure our political caucuses adhere to the Code of Conduct of Councillors, Standing Rule of Councils, Payment of Services, and all other rules and regulations that are there to promote ethical leadership. We need to hold each other's hands as women, ma'am, not as politicians now, but to assist each other to be better leaders. Women don't meet and talk like, talk their hearts out like any other, like men do. Madam Speaker, men they meet and they talk in pubs, they talk in golf courses, they do all those things. But as women, we don't do that. We should just create a platform, ma'am, as the city where we meet and as women and just talk feminine matters as proposed by Councillor Nontenja. and share how we face our challenges and how, as political leadership, irrespective of political affiliation, we can deal with the challenges that we face. Not to really undermine each other, to do mentorship programs. You remember we have been there. We used to have mentorship programs where we even got mentored and even mentored ward committee, female ward committee members, that we had to bring them on board, take them to training and capacitate them in leadership. And we see some of them today in council as councillors. And Madam Speaker, I would now like to take this opportunity to thank all our viewers and listeners on all our platforms, and to thank the staff and all those who logged in. Nwabisa, Wandile, Sipho, Nhlakanipho, Thandeka, Sandile, and most thanks to Uvuyo and Unosipho Nonkelela. Very, very much thanks goes to you all the way from USA. You joined us. Thank you very much. Nangomso every Wednesday. Please do that and join us. And I would like then to thank you, Madam Speaker, for creating this dynamic platform, as always, every Wednesday, to discuss issues that affect women. And Babu Nyati, Dr. Nyati, you are our partner. We'd like to thank you for the support on this platform. And I would like to even thank our party leaders. Councillor Wendy Alexander, Councillor Nontenja, Councillor Nontantla.
We're changing it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. As we welcome Mamu Khololo. She was
okay. She found us closing. Okay. Councillor Nontlantla Khadebe and our advocate Babu Rampai, and I have already thanked Unosipho for participating in this program and joining us and sharing your imperative views on the discussions. Thank you very, very, very much. We have learned a lot. In fact, Madam Speaker, whenever we meet on this platform, we learn a lot from your panelists, irrespective of the fact that they are female or they are male or they are a mixture. We learn a lot. The information that they share make us grow. We grow out of those informations that they share with us. And thanking you, Gakudu, Madam Speaker. Ngothando lwakho lwabantu. You know, this thing of yours that you have of wanting to be for the people, with them always, even if times are difficult, you make sure that you reach out to the people of the city of Johannesburg. Thank you very much, ma'am. Keep on doing it. Keep up the good work. Yabo.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs, for thanking everybody. Though you missed maybe one or two people, you've mentioned Sipho, I know, and then you have missed one of the important people in my life, who makes me to be where I have to be all the time and make sure that I'm on time. My personal assistant, my second in charge.
I did not know she was here. She's here. Oh, she was not welcomed, Madam Speaker. So
I know you
know
mentioned Botaga and Wandile and everybody, but otherwise tomorrow I won't get my program.
Anyway,
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody. Women of the city of Johannesburg, leadership. My last word is that we are the voice of the voiceless. We represent young and old people, particularly women of the city. So let us represent them. Let us be a voice of those who are affected by gender-based violence. Our young women are killed every day. what are we saying as leaders in the city of Johannesburg? Our city is not immune to these social ills. What is our role? Our role at home, our role.
You're not audible, Madam Speaker. You are on our
Okay.
rolls.
All right, let us come together and put an end to these social ills that we are faced with as a city. Let us put an end to gender-based violence, and we can do that together as a collective, because social ills have no political party t-shirt. They don't belong to any political party, but as women of the city, let us have a platform to come together and come with one program that will assist and take the city forward and mentor our young women and save our nation from the social ills. Thank you very much. You have a good evening. Thank you, everybody. I'm not going to mention you by names. The chair of chairs has already done that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Bye.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you so much.
Siyabonga, Madam Speaker.
Thank you
Bye.
all.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you
Speaker.
all.
Bye.
Madam Speaker. Bye.
Bye.